Hey guys, RB here, blogging from paradise, working with the light that we have. Just warming up for a few. Oh man, just want to talk for a few about one of the really overlooked aspects of getting featured on high-level blogs. Now on YouTube and later I'll link in on Facebook, but I linked to my course, How to Get Featured on world famous blogs. And greetings, by the way, birthday greetings, by the way, from beautiful Kalkan, Turkey. Kelly and I are spending the month on the Turkish Riviera, overlooking the Mediterranean. This is also referred to as the Turquoise Coast. So, birthday greetings. The time space creature is 48 today, allegedly. But the course I'm linking to on YouTube, and I'll link to it later on Facebook, is how to get featured on world famous blogs. And the third module is to write. And this really, guys, and make sure you check out the course, guys, is how to get featured on world famous blogs. And it is a course that I offer through Gumroad and, of course, via bloggingfromparadise.com. So you can check out the link or just stop by bloggingfromparadise.com and check it out. Writing is such an overlooked aspect of getting featured on top blogs because most bloggers try to sprint before they can crawl. They think that if they follow simple, practical steps quickly, hey Rose, that they could land a feature on a top blog without developing skills, without gaining credibility, without earning trust, without being able to write clearly and confidently. Guys, the only way you're going to gain a guest posting opportunity, or the only way you're going to be interviewed, or the only way you're going to be featured via like a quick hitter mention as far as a backlink on a high level popular blog. And this is a point that I really stress in the course. It's very important to understand this. The only way you gain this exposure on a high level, popular, trusted blog is to be a highly skilled, trustworthy blogger. And in order to become a highly skilled, trustworthy blogger, you have to really be able to write. That means you have to practice writing offline every single day without exception. Really aim for 500 words. If you can get 1,000 words offline, that's great. And just offline, guys. I'm not talking about writing and publishing a post daily because that's too ambitious for most bloggers. And in truth, unless you have a really good distribution system set up or you're just hyper skilled at optimizing posts, these posts aren't really going to take you anywhere. They're not going to get a lot of passive traffic. You're not getting much traffic at all because you're not distributing them. You have to distribute everything you do, guys. But anyway, back to the writing. This is overlooked because most bloggers don't realize the most important skill you need to have in order to be interviewed by a top level blogger is writing ability. You have to be able to write clearly, confidently, and skillfully enough to impress these bloggers to the point where they actually trust you to interview you. And it takes a lot of writing practice. It takes a lot of writing practice offline, open a Word document, 500 words a day, maybe 1,000 words a day. Because most of us guys, especially as newbies, we really have so many doubts and fears and anxieties and worries about our writing that we only dissolve by digging into our mind, ferreting them out, and on a worldly level, that comes with practicing your writing. And you write, and you write, and you write some more, and you write some more. And of course, it's overlooked because most bloggers think that from a space of delusion, unrealistic expectations, that if you comment on 100 blogs a day and you publish 1 or 2 or 5 posts a day, that you'll gain the exposure to get featured on top blogs. But they don't care about these top bloggers, like high-level bloggers. They don't care about you publishing a ton of content. They don't care about your blog being linked to via thousands and thousands of blog comments. They don't care about numbers. They care if you're a really skilled writer. They care if you're a really skilled, clear, confident writer who they trust enough to link to, because they're not going to just link to anybody. They're not going to drop a link. If you publish a ton of content and it's low quality, and if you drop a ton of low quality backlinks on a high volume of blogs in your niche, it doesn't do anything, because it doesn't impress anybody. Anybody could do that. A chimpanzee can do that. Anybody can publish a high volume of any form of content online. But if you practice writing every single day, 500 to 1,000 words for a long time, gotta do it for a long time, you will become skilled enough, confident enough, clear enough to impress high-level bloggers to the point of where they say, hey, I got to interview this guy or gal. It takes a lot of writing practice. You got to become really good at this to get featured on top blogs. It's not easy. These bloggers do not give out backlinks like candies to babies, and I have really gotten super clear on my strategy. I link to almost no one on my blog anymore. I remove backlinks from comments because you're only going to get featured via a comment link, or of course in the blog post itself link. If you could write skillfully, and if readers from my blog, from my community, hey brother, good late afternoon. If readers from my community click through to your blog, they need to see high quality content from a skilled writer, or else I'm not giving you the link, because every link on my blog counts. It has to be outstanding. Now, I just started this over the past 3 weeks, where it's just like, no, only relevant high quality links. But this is a good example, guys. Like, you have to earn a link on my blog. If people are going to visit my blog and click through even your comment to go to your blog, they have to see high quality content. If not, I'm not giving it, because it's not just my reputation and my credibility. It's not really about that even. I want to give readers outstanding resources to link to click to. You have to be able to write. You earn the right to get a feature on any blog. You earn the right to have your content linked to, because blogs are value real estate. And if you want to get featured on a high-level blog, if you want a famous blogger, successful blogger, a pro blogger to mention you via a link, you got to practice your writing all the time, every single day, at least 500 words, or at the minimum 250. And you just open up a Word document and you write. You could write about your preferred topic, your niche topic. You could write about anything, write about day-to-day life. Just keep writing. Because unless you write regularly, your post quality, the details, the practical tips, the word length, long form posts, you should be writing long form posts, it won't hit the mark. And you'll always know when bloggers aren't practicing their writing. They'll run into writer's block really easily. They'll say, I can't write a post that long. They'll have to stretch it out, really verbose, long-winded posts. Those are always signs that bloggers aren't practicing their writing enough. And also, too, if you're reaching out to all these high-level professional bloggers and they're simply not linking back to you, they're not publishing your comments, if this is happening regularly, they're not mentioning you. Of course, you're not building relationships, which is so key. But you need to write clearly and confidently for a top blogger to drop a link to your blog, to drop a backlink, to mention you via one line. Now, I've been blessed. I feel grateful to have landed these features, yet I really wrote my ass off for a number of years. I practiced to get clear and confident to gain enough trust from my writing practice, and also my networking too, please. That's a big part of it. Outreach is huge, but you got to be able to write. Because if you engage in a really genuine, generous outreach campaign and you make friends, let's say, with a really high volume, genuinely, a high number of professional bloggers who are respected, who publish popular blogs, run popular blogs, and you can't write skillfully, you don't practice your writing, you don't have confidence, clarity, your posts are too wordy, you're choppy, or there are too many grammar errors. Like you see a lot of ESL bloggers that'll make not just one or two, but a high volume of grammar errors. Even if these bloggers befriend you and they appreciate you, they can't link to your blog. Because then when their readers click through to a link to your blog, if they did feature you and they saw your blog had a lot of grammar errors and it was not clear and cogent and your writing was bloated or choppy, then the readers of those popular high-level bloggers would say, I don't think I trust the blogger as much, or their work is outstanding, but then they're linking out to these low quality or even crappy resources. So you have to write a lot in order to become confident enough and skilled enough to impress a high-level blogger to the point to where they will actually link to you. And this is so overlooked because you'll see bloggers talking about all these systems and they don't talk about writing practice. And then they're stunned. They're frustrated. They're upset. They're like, I never get featured on top blogs. But when you read 2 paragraphs of one of their posts, and I don't want to be hypercritical or judgmental, guys. I totally admire and respect everyone who's keeping at it and who's practicing and puts themselves out there. I do. I really do. ESL bloggers, EFL bloggers, English as a first language. I admire and respect you, but nobody will link to you because you're trying and because you're putting yourself out there. You have to earn it. You have to be skilled. That's how the world works. You have to be trusted. You have to publish high-level content, and you have to practice your writing. And that's why this is high up as far as lesson 3, the course that I sell, how to get featured on world famous blogs. Like, you want that exposure. You want the traffic. It could happen. I mean, they've since removed some of the links just because it's a number of years, but I was featured on Virgin, Richard Branson's blog, and Forbes, and Fox News, and Entrepreneur, then blogs like Smart Blogger, Pro Blogger, bloggingtips.com back in the day. I spoke at NYU about blogging. These opportunities flowed to me, these high-level bloggers. Matthew Woodward, I gained a link through his blog through a guest post, and he's mentioned me in other posts. Neil Patel linked to me multiple times. They only did this first and foremost because they trusted Blogging from Paradise enough, and they trusted my writing skills enough, where they're like, okay, he could write skillfully. I'll link to him because it's a valued resource, because they're thinking about their blog and their audience. They're not thinking about you, let me do this guy a favor or help them out. No, they don't think that way. I don't think that way any longer. I did for a while, and it kind of, some dicey situations, but this is high up as far as the course that I'm sharing, guys, because it's the 3rd lesson, because let me double check. Yeah, actually, yeah, it's 3rd lesson. It's high up because it's so overlooked. Bloggers simply don't talk about it, or they don't teach it. Or if they do, they gloss over it because they're like, yeah, here, get all these backlinks and publish this content that's SEO optimized. You have to be able to write skillfully and competently to land features on the top blogs in the world. And you have to practice writing your butt off when nobody's reading your blog. And of course, when you practice offline, nobody's reading your practice sessions. You're doing it in Word. That's good, though. That's why I advise to do that and not to publish it, because you have to be detached about your work. So many bloggers don't practice writing because they're trying to get everything through every word they write. That's a horrible idea, and that's why most bloggers publish low quality content and never succeed. They eventually struggle, they fail, and they quit. They don't practice their writing. Hey, Kyle. They don't practice their writing. They do only write when they're publishing a post. And then they don't publish a lot of posts. So how are you ever going to become skilled? You're going to have grammar errors. You're going to write either choppy or bloated. And your blog will barely impress anybody, but only because you're not practicing your writing. Once you practice your writing, you'll become confident. You'll become clear. You'll be so more likely to network. I think a lot of bloggers, when they practice their writing every day offline, they gain the confidence and clarity to engage in a more aggressive, or let's just say more ambitious blogger outreach campaign. So they really start meeting new bloggers and commenting on blogs and getting their blogs out there because in part they practice their writing. So now they feel confident enough, clear enough, good enough, but I'll say confident and clear enough to actually share the blog post with other bloggers and to actually drop a genuine comment on a top blogger's blog that links back to their posts. So then they won't feel embarrassed or ashamed or they're not good enough. But they usually do this, guys, by practicing their writing offline when nobody's looking. And then two, when you're publishing content in the beginning and you're gaining your footing and you haven't really engaged in outreach and you're developing your skills, not many people will read your blog. That's not only average, that's the norm. That's how it happens for everybody because you don't have the skills in the network yet. And that's how it is, but you got to practice writing, guys. Write. The more confident you become as a writer, the more opportunities will flow to you because it will reflect through your posts. And this is a big time overlooked aspect of getting featured on top blogs. It's why only a few bloggers do. They're the ones who write a lot when nobody's looking. So then they become confident enough to put themselves out there, and they're seen in a credible light, in a trusted light, because they worked their tail off. They wrote their ass off. So when readers come across, like, you could really write. I love your writing style. Like, you see some of the comments on my blog, and I don't view myself in this light, but readers will say, commenters will say, and readers and loyal community members, wow, Ryan, you could really write, or I love your analogies, or whatever it is. And it's nothing other than me practicing my writing for a long time. Or again, when a top blogger links to me, when Neil Patel links to me multiple times, one of the reasons is I really wrote a lot. I practiced writing many, many words over many, many years. So I published clear, confident, detailed posts from a trusting vibe where I felt clear on them. Like, okay, this is helpful, good stuff. I feel clear on it. To where he looked at it and said, oh yeah, this guy knows this stuff. This guy can write. And I can only write because I practice. And then he linked to me. And that's what it is, guys. You got to really practice your writing. You got to do the work behind the scenes when nobody's watching and when everybody else quits and they don't even bother because they're in such a state of fear and panic and worry and hurry. You got to be the blogger that puts in that work when no one's watching, and eventually a lot more people will be watching. And we see this in all aspects of life. One of the players I like to mention in the NBA, and obviously he's over the years on a worldly level has been polarizing, Ace Boy, is the dude who was just traded to the Mavericks, Kyrie Irving. Whatever your views are of him away from the court, or even on the court in a way, hey, he is perhaps the most overall skilled guard in the history of basketball. There's been no guard who's ever played, and I've followed the game closely for 40 years. I'm 48 today. Today's my birthday. I've followed this game for 43 years since I was 5, closely. And many of the greatest players of all time arose during that period, maybe a little bit earlier when you're getting back to Kareem and Wilt. But as far as guards, I mean, before my time, Oscar Robertson, Bob Cousy, there was some greats, but there's nobody. Just look at the videos, guys. They were amazing. But this guy has skills that he has such a wide range of skills. It's seemingly endless that nobody's ever had as a guard in the history of basketball. Ever picked up a basketball. It's amazing his skills and how much he shined in the public and how famous he is this guy practiced so much because he grew up in my native New Jersey. I started following his game when he was 15 years old, right when he transferred to St. Patrick High School in northern New Jersey. I went to all their games for 25 years. He practiced so much when nobody knew who he was, when nobody was watching, in private, no followers, just him in a gym with a trainer or by himself, doing the same moves, the double behind the back crossover, finishing with the left hand on the right foot, finishing on the left hand with the left hand off the wrong foot. And so many people now see him and like, he's so lucky and he's a magician with the ball. Yeah, because he spent 10,000 hours practicing before he got the Duke or after he was a Duke. It's just, this guy outworked everybody. He outpracticed everybody. So now he could do all the things, the crossover, his footwork is exquisite. He practiced when nobody was watching for so long, for so many thousands of thousands, 10,000 hours, 15,000 or 20,000 hours. Now he shines in public, and he's been shining for a while. It's the same way with you bloggers for writing. You want to get featured on a top blog, you have to write for hundreds and thousands of hours and practice and practice and practice to gain the clarity and the skills to impress these bloggers so that they look at your blog and they're like, oh, he writes, she writes, he or she writes skillfully, clearly, competently. I'll link to them. They know what they're doing. They're a high-level blogger. And again, guys, I don't see myself in this light, but I've been checking a few times over the past 3 weeks, twice actually. I typed in successful bloggers to follow on Google through incognito, just making sure none of my cookies or any of that stuff. And a couple weeks ago, I came up number 4, and now I come up with number 3 on Google. As my post comes up number 1 on Google, successful bloggers to follow, the blog post and blogging practice. But Google has that sub snippet. I guess it's a snippet. Yeah, bloggers to follow. And now it's Darren Rouse, or as of yesterday, Seth Godin and Ryan Bidoff. Google considers me the 3rd blogger to follow in the world, at least on planet Earth. I can't vouch for other planets. So the only reason they link to me, especially because I drive such little Google traffic, not the only reason, it's a lot of work, it's links, all this other stuff, but the number one reason why they would link to me, next to Seth Godin, a celebrity, iconic, one of the greatest marketers of all time, and Darren Rouse, one of the greatest bloggers of all time. My name is right with them. Google says from three guys at the top. 3 beings, I say guys, gals. Darren Rouse, Seth Godin, and Ryan Bidoff. The prime reason why I'm on that list, guys, it's not for these other factors of fame and all. No. And obviously these guys are tremendously skilled, but worldly, I'm not known like these guys. I get that. But I wrote my ass off to develop my blog into what it is as a trusted resource, predominantly to gain the backlinks, to network freely. I network freely because I practice writing my ass off. And just to be on that list, it's my writing. It's so many other factors, but it all comes from the fact that I wrote so patiently and persistently for many, many years. And I practiced offline and I practiced online. And I practiced and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. And now I have the confidence and clarity to the point where I've done the creating and connecting and publishing detailed content to where they say, based on sources around the web, he's one of the top 3 bloggers on planet Earth to follow. But I don't see myself that way. I get lost in the process. I see myself as someone who practiced writing his rear end off. I wrote. And then it's giving me greater opportunities to help people become successful bloggers or professional bloggers or part-time bloggers who want to do it, or circle the globe bloggers like my wife Kelly and I wrote so much to get featured on high-level blogs, on popular blogs, and it's so overlooked and so few bloggers get the feature because they don't write. You got to practice writing, guys, but if you do, you're going to outshine most bloggers who don't practice. But again, the message is spreading now. The word is spreading. People are realizing the most critical skill you could develop as a blogger for anything, business, network, getting featured on high-level blogs, on popular, world-famous blogs. You got to write. You got to practice writing and do it offline. Don't make the mistake that I've seen tens of thousands, literally, of bloggers make over my 14, 13, 15-year career. I don't even know. I don't even care anymore. Time and space illusion anyway, right? They make the mistake of only writing, only typing words, only writing when they publish a post, and they don't publish that much content, so they don't do that much practice. They don't practice their writing that much, and bloggers that do practice writing just run circles around them. Confidence, clarity, exposure. You got to practice writing offline, guys. That's where things really pop. So, guys, I'm going to roll. It's time to go shopping for a little bit, a little birthday shopping here on the Turkish Riviera. Kelly and I are going to hop out and about. Nice weather. Beautiful, beautiful day here. Hey, Ryan. Write, guys. Write some more. Keep writing. It's the third step, the course I sell, and it's available on bloggingfromparadise.com, is how to get featured on world famous blogs. And of course, available through bloggingfromparadise.com, but I sell it through Gumroad, which you guys know. I know most of you guys know. This is the third module, in addition to the introduction. It's write. It's so overlooked, guys. It is so overlooked. Right truth, Ryan says, be yourself. We all have God within, unleash him. We do, Ryan. And you know what's cool too, Ryan, and I'm realizing I like the mirror effect because I happen to be a Ryan too. Like, Ryan makes a good point in the comments. Like, we're all in reality, like in truth, we're all one spirit, and God is the dad, and we're the kids. One spirit. Like, we appear to be separate in bodies, but this is an illusion. Obviously, scripture refers to it. A Course in Miracles, that's all Jesus talks about. It's just like, we're one, guys. Everybody's your brother, and God's the Father, and we're the brothers. We're the kids. But when you start writing and expressing yourself and sharing your thoughts and uplifting and helping and loving, you're tapping into some of the reason. Okay, we come back to this world because we're looking for an answer in form, and that never really works. Jesus figured it out. Buddha eventually figured it out after the lifetime we know him, because he kind of got to that God thing. And all these saints that are God inspired, they figure it out. We're here to have fun, to love, and to help, and to realize that we're just one presence in spirit. We're just one spirit. This whole world is not what it appears to be, guys. The deeper you get into your mind, the more you train your mind and quiet, like, holy crap, it's an illusion. It is. Writing is one of the most enjoyable, fun, and sometimes challenging, but freeing ways to unleash, as Ryan said, if you will, but just to release, to let go that amazing power we have in spirit through the body, through this communication medium. This thing that you're looking at, I said Ryan's 48 today, but that's a time-space creature thing. It's just a communication medium. I will take this because I'm eternal and you're eternal. Everybody here is eternal. We're not the body, guys. Don't ever buy that, horse shit line of the ego. We'll take this and we'll put it aside. The Holy Spirit will have us put it aside when the communication period ends here. But the spirit is eternal, and that's all we really are. And writing is such a cool way, and I'm glad you added that, Ryan. And I know the Holy Spirit brought you in, bringing us all. We're all just one anyway. We're saying bringing in, but we're all just one. There's no separation. There's not. It looks like it. But your comment, and I appreciate you contributing that, writing is such a fun way. I'm in a worldly level, yeah, we still have our stuff with symbols and money and all that, and I get it. Getting a feature on popular blogs, that's okay. But when you see all that stuff as more symbolism, and that writing is such a fun way to help people and to inspire and to encourage and to uplift and to, if they're open to it, they have to be open to it in their mind, but to feel more courageous, it is just such an awesome way to, we're together, but if we appear to be apart, to bring us together and to help. And then the worldly stuff too. This is not all, esoteric's not the right word. I get it. The title was to get featured on top blogs. I'm selling course for a couple hundred clams. I do the worldly stuff. I'm not at the enlightened level. So we're still doing that. But amidst the form and the symbols, when you see the illusory nature of it, practicing your writing is such a fun way to uplift, empower, inspire, and to just serve. to show love, to help, practical tips, mindset tips. But if you want the greater exposure on a worldly level, you got to write, because high-level bloggers, they're only going to link to you and your blog if you write skillfully, and you're only going to write skillfully if you practice writing a lot, especially when nobody's watching. That's how it works for all of us. I was not on that list of Google saying there's a third blogger, top 3 bloggers to follow, just based on their algorithm. I was not on that list 14 years ago. I had 1 reader, then I had 2 readers. And after months, I think I had 3 readers a day. Nobody was there. And I struggled, but I kept practicing my writing, and here you go. Guys, I got to roll. It's almost lunchtime here. Time to do some shopping first, I think, and then we'll grab some lunch. I love you guys. Thank you so much, Ryan and Abil and Rose and my friend in Malaysia, Kyle Sepoy. Really love you guys. Feel free to share this video if you know bloggers who want to get featured on high-level blogs and they're just a little confused, or they could come across my course. And the course is really helpful, guys, because it helps you gain on a worldly level great exposure to help more people, and everything can accelerate from there. The traffic, the income. When you're getting featured on these blogs more regularly, that's ultimately one of the keys. It's not like getting one feature on Forbes or Entrepreneur and then that's going to be it. No, it never is. It's how to do it consistently so you have the greater platform to help more people. And yeah, you'll increase your targeted traffic and your income as you do this regularly. But a lot of bloggers have so many fears manifest as various mental blocks and worthiness and deserving issues. So the course is really helpful. And again, it's at bloggingfromparadise.com. And I sell it through Gumroad. It's sold through Gumroad. I sell it through Gumroad. It's really helpful because it breaks down each practical step to follow to guide you and your mind through the mental blocks as a new blogger, as an experienced veteran. Even high-level pro bloggers have a lot of mental blocks about, oh, I can't get featured on top blogs. But guys, Google's featuring me next to Seth Godin and Darren Rouse. Iconoclast. They're not iconoclast, but icons. They've been at it for a long. Like, I don't view myself in that light, but obviously the proof's in the pudding. When Google's like, yeah, you're one of the top 3, it's them, but they're really smart and they know what they're talking about. And I don't view myself in that way, but the course gets you into my mind so you can get through your mental blocks. So definitely give it a look, guys. I'll link to it on Facebook after I'm done with the video, and already linked to on YouTube. So Tata YouTube, I got to walk around Turkey now for a little bit. Do I going to stop? I'm going to stop. Much love, guys. Have a great rest of your morning,